Welcome to the Arsenal Show. We are live. I'm joined by Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
How you doing, Kieran? Yep, very good, very good.
I'm good. We've got plenty to discuss tonight. We're going to be discussing the ease at which we brushed past what's meant to be a tricky encounter this weekend at Fulham. 3-0 victory, clean sheet, Trossard with a hat-trick of assists, absolutely smashing it at the moment. Surely the sign of the January transfer window. We're going to be talking about the Sporting Lisbon game. Do Arsenal have enough to get through to the next round? Are they taking this competition seriously? Should they take this competition seriously, or should they concentrate on the Premier League? We've got Gabriel Jesus back. We'll be talking about that. And, of course, if you are probably on Twitter at the moment and your head is wobbling, it's probably because you've heard news that there's a club that like one of our players. And as soon as that happens, Arsenal fans seem to lose their rag. Some of the statements I'm hearing people say, based on the fact that there is interest in one of our youngsters from another club. And because of that, you'll see journalists will jump on that and synonymize, try and guess a little bit because they don't have the information. I'm seeing quite a lot of at the moment, which in Tau means that Arsenal's fans' heads will wobble. But we're going to get a bit more clarity on that and discuss not just Ethan Nwaneri, but other potential Arsenal players or youngsters coming through the ranks. First and foremost, Steve, Arsenal 3, Fulham 0. Fulham absolutely brushed aside, not even lay a glove on Arsenal on the weekend. No. And even in the second half, it didn't seem like it was under threat at all.
No, I mean, I thought this was going to be a really difficult match, and before, I wasn't expecting a 3-0, and I certainly wasn't expecting it to be as easy as it was. But that first half performance was, I think, it was up there with one of our best performances this season, if not the best. Some of the just to pick out names especially from that first half. For William Saliba was absolutely incredible on the day. I think Granit Xhaka was outstanding, back to his best. And you've just already mentioned the main guy, Leo Trossard. Incredible. 3 assists, constant menace, constant threat. What a signing, and thank you very much, Chelsea, for signing Mudryk. That's all I've got to say, because we may have possibly not been seeing him otherwise. But it was an incredible performance. I mean, some of the football, some of the movement of the players, we just had total domination in every area of the pitch. Defensively, we was perfect. Midfield, we was perfect. Up front, we just was causing them so many problems. We scored 3, could have been 6, and Fulham really just didn't lay a glove on us. And it was great to come away with a clean sheet. But some of the performances of some of the players, and Odegaard, I don't know if I meant, wow. I mean, back to his best. I mean, I've often compared Martin Odegaard to our Dennis Bergkamp plays, and I see like a cameo today on my video on YouTube of his. I mean, we've always said he's got fantastic movement, but his movement and that thing that he does that Bergkamp used to do, where he's already looking before the ball comes to him. He's already looking around him to see where he's going to play that ball before it gets to him. He does it. He's doing it. And he's the closest thing to Dennis Bergkamp that Arsenal have had. It was an incredible performance, and I could go on the whole show talking about it, but it was incredible, mate. And the goals were fantastic goals. And there was probably a couple of players who didn't really perform on the day or were quieter than usual, but other players stepped up. Yeah, it was a great performance, mate.
Yeah, and Trossard with a hat-trick of assists since he's come in 9 games, 5 assists, 1 goal. I mean, could you ask for anything more? More goals?
No. I suppose you could ask for more goals from him. I think like at Brighton, he probably could say that he scored goals, but I think he's got a couple. Has he got a couple for us this year? Has he got?
He's got a goal and 5 assists.
He's got a goal and 5 assists. I mean, I'll take that. I think it's different when you play for Arsenal because you've got so many players on that pitch who can score goals. I think he's got his role. I think he's a different type of second striker, if you like, come left-sided winger than what we've got. He's different. He's different from Jesus. He's not the same if he ever plays in the middle. He's different from Martinelli. I think he's a little bit more. I think he's better on the ball. Thinks a little bit better than Martinelli. Martinelli's obviously got other attributes that Trossard ain't got, but I think what he's got just fits him perfectly with what we need, and it was an incredible signing. And I don't think we would have got this impact from Mudryk. In fact, I'm positive that we would not have got this sort of impact from Mudryk if he come in. 28 years old. Yeah, I mean, he's one of these players that you can look back at the end of the season and think that was the Bayern. I think it was you, Kieran, a little while ago when you spoke about players like Viltord and Christopher Wray and the sort of impact they did to take us through to win titles. I think this guy is another level from them. So yeah, I think he's brilliant. And if he can continue like that, just keep doing assists, pop up with the odd goal, that'd be fine with me.
Yeah, no, Trossard for me is like he's very much like Freddie Ljungberg for me in the way that he slows down the play. Freddie Ljungberg was a lot rawer. He sorted out his technique a lot more when he came to Arsenal, but he has I feel like he just sees things a little bit differently. He has that tenacity, but again with the creativity and the technique as well. So it's something you don't often see. Similar a bit to Emil Smith Rowe as well. Will slow down the play, will run down the wing, but won't necessarily rely on his pace to get past players or to play the balls. No, I think it's an excellent signing, and the fact that he can play in multiple positions as well is made a massive difference.
I think Freddie was someone who sort of relied on others. He was like more of a goal scorer, wasn't he? I think he was someone who scored goals, and I remember that season where him and Bergkamp had this sort of telepathic relationship on the pitch, mind you. I think everybody had a telepathic relationship when Bergkamp played because he was just so good for everybody. But I mean, I'd like I've already said, if he can continue with this for the rest of his time at Arsenal, I'd be more than happy.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's been absolutely outstanding so far. And long may it continue. Arsenal have got some big games coming up soon. This was just another one that's taken off the notch. Who have we got coming up? We've got after this one, we've got Sporting coming up on Thursday, and it's Crystal Palace on Sunday. Leeds before we take on Liverpool at Anfield, which is going to be a tough game. But Crystal Palace at home, Leeds at home. These are games that Arsenal needs to be winning, and it will definitely help us push in for that league. City haven't got a game on the weekend as well. I think they've got the FA Cup as well. So it's time to rack up those points. But another player...
Saliba was outstanding, wasn't he? He was outstanding, Saliba, on the day as well. Incredible.
Yeah. For me, there was obviously Trossard, I thought was excellent. Ramsdale made a couple of very good saves in important times as well. Even though he didn't have many chances, when he was called upon, he was there. Saliba was excellent, as was Gabriel. I thought they were just. I thought the whole defense was very, very good, but those two were very much stand out. I thought Thomas Partey was excellent, not just winning the ball back, but with his. There was a couple of times in the centre midfield where he's doing keepy uppies. The ball's come down, he's kept it up in the air, sort of flicked it towards.
He done a cross once.
I was just like, what is this geezer doing?
See Xhaka doing back flicks, little flicks.
Xhaka getting back to his better form as well, getting more involved, and again, I'll have to find the picture, but the difference in Partey and Jorginho is positional, and you can see it when Partey plays. Odegaard and Xhaka play in front of him because they don't even worry about who's behind because they know Thomas Partey's there.
Yeah.
But with Jorginho, he plays across the midfield. He's getting about. He's there. So you have to adapt your style of play. So
do you think Jorginho sometimes goes into Xhaka and I mean, look, we're not over to go to Jorginho here. I mean, he's been brilliant since he came in, and I loved his little when he burst out laughing when Vieira fell over. I think that just shows over. It just shows the camaraderie and what it's like playing for Arsenal at the moment. I thought that was hilarious. But I think sometimes he when you do look at Partey and Jorginho, like you said, you can see a level, maybe one or two levels above. Sometimes I feel like maybe Jorginho goes into Odegaard's space and Xhaka's space, and they get a little bit don't know what to do. So yeah,
I think they're two different players. So you won't get Jorginho playing a Thomas Partey type game. Thomas Partey generally, as I said before, he keeps his line of play is very much just straight down the middle. Whereas Jorginho is here, he's there, he wants the ball there, he's going to try and play the ball there. You're getting a completely different game from two different defensive midfielders, which I think is a good thing because you completely change your style. It's not like you welcome Jerome. It's not like you're bringing in a like for like as much as you can with an El Nene. You're bringing in a completely different player. So when you are bringing in a Jorginho, it's keeping the opposition thinking as well because it's going to be completely different to what Thomas Partey is playing. I thought Saka was a bit quiet the other day, but again, I stand by. I still think he needs a rest. Martinelli was again getting back to his best. He was, I think that little, he was only off for about, I think all in all, he's off for about 60 minutes when he had that rest, which has sparked him into life again. Yeah. Maybe the competition of Trossard around as well has made him step up. We don't know, but the reinforcements he brought in January, it's just shown what we were missing last year when we lost Partey, when we lost Kieran Tierney, and we didn't bring anyone in. So it shows the difference that it can make in a January transfer window. Jerome, how you doing?
Yeah, good. You're right, lads.
All right,
Arsenal 3, Fulham 0. What was your thoughts on the score, on the result?
Yeah, you know what? Performance-wise, that's like that reminded me of how we were playing at the beginning of the season. To be honest, to be 3-0 up at half time, and let's face it, it could have been a lot more, couldn't it? We just totally dominated that half. Maybe the first 10 minutes we were just feeling our way into the game, and then it was like football from the first half of the season. I think I caught the end of what you were saying. I think about Jorginho, but what like what stood out is just Thomas Partey is on a different planet when he's on form.
Yeah,
Incredible, absolutely incredible footballer.
How good was he the other day?
Mate, incredible. I mean, I know Arteta's got this. He's got this formation where he has just sort of deep on his own. When the time comes to replace him, obviously Jorginho's a bit older as well, so he probably won't be there. I don't know if you can't replace that type of player. It's impossible. I don't know if you need to change the formation, but he was just on a different planet to every other midfielder. Just like a joy to watch, and it's like he was in second gear as well. He never really puts his foot down, like in terms of going full throttle. He just plays at his own pace.
I think you'd have to change the way you play. You'd have to change it. Like you can't get in a replacement and expect to play the same way. For one, it'd be too much. I don't know how good this player is going to be that's going to be coming in that central midfield spot to take over from Partey, but to have that player just be the pivot and clean up, but still be the starting point for attacks, you're asking a lot.
It has to be Rice, doesn't it? It's the closest. It's the closest you're going to get.
But even then, I still think you'd have to change your style of play because I don't think Rice is a Thomas Partey like for like. I don't think
there is one, is there? I can't think of one. There's no one like him.
No, I don't think Rice is that. I think Rice is probably more of a central midfielder than Thomas Partey in terms of probably more a forward playing central midfielder than Thomas Partey. So yeah, I just see if Arsenal bring in Declan Rice, I think Arsenal will change their style of play in terms of that midfield role and the responsibilities that Thomas Partey has now. I don't think because I don't think Arteta's asking Jorginho to do a Thomas Partey job because he couldn't do it. He's asking Jorginho to play his game, which benefits us because it's a completely different style of play to Thomas Partey. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what we do. It'll be interesting to see what you do. Steve, Gabriel Jesus back. 15-minute cameo looked like he'd been away for 15 minutes. it come on like a lightning bolt.
Mate. Hey. Yeah, I mean, it was. I think I said on the Super 6 last night, I don't think I've ever seen a 15-minute cameo of someone who's been out for 4 months like that ever. Normally they come in and they're they're a bit nervous and they're a bit tentative on the ball and they're just trying to get through that 15 minutes and get up to match fitness. He come on like a man possessed. He come on and some of the touches. I mean, I think he made two touches in a game which were like my jaw dropped. I was like, wow, he's back. And back with a vengeance. And that little turn where he flicks it over onto Saturday, played it through to him, and he should have scored. And oh wow, if only he would have scored. But he was outstanding. He was absolutely outstanding. As you said, it's like he was never away. He's just come in and just where he's left off, he started again. And what a time to get him back. I mean, just like a new signing, really, isn't it? It's like he's come in now, and now we've got Gabriel Jesus now for the for the rest of the season to hopefully, take us through to our first title since 2004. Absolutely outstanding little cameo, 15 minutes, and I just can't wait to see him again. I mean, he should have scored. Like you say, he should have scored, but his movements just look. I mean, I thought we looked good in training. I've been watching him in training, and I thought, he's moving well. He's looking good. When I see him in the week, I felt, I could see him being on the bench with Fulham. Because he did look sharp in training. but I never thought he'd be this sharp. Wow, did he look sharp? And that's worrying for, you know, other teams, other defences, because he's back.
Yeah, and let's have a little quick look at his documentary coming up.
I think my life is not complete if I'm not allowed to be on the pitch.
Huge blow with Gabriel Jesus and what happened in the World Cup with his injury. It's a challenge that we have to overcome as well.
I'm learning to come back to stronger, more powerful. It's not easy to be out.
He's met every mark of the we have set, probably with days to spare.
All right, Jerome, is this going to be a movie? A movie? Oh, get out of it! Get out of it! I'm being attacked. I can still hear it in the background. Is this going to be a movie? A movie ending? Is it a Hollywood ending? Gabriel Jesus scoring the winning goal for Arsenal to win the Premier League.
God, could be, couldn't it? I mean, his performance on Sunday for someone that's been out for so long was a joke, really. Like, he played so well, like better than if you were to envisage him coming back in his first game back. Like,
I would have said, calm down. You're going to hurt yourself. It's like, just relax a little bit, ease yourself in, but no.
Yeah, amazing. Like, it's all set up, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's all set up.
All set up. It is.
I just can't help believing. That's all you get.
It's a miracle, not a miracle, but how we're in the same position we're in when he got injured is amazing, really. I don't want or care about getting credit from anyone else, but how we haven't got like the credit from different outlets, media, is just incredible.
No, because they all they say is if Arsenal don't do it, they're bottled it. So they're double downing on the. So there's the crumble. There's the Arsenal going to bottle it. Blah blah blah. Now it's from this position. If Arsenal lose it, they've bottled it. Like no. From Arsenal being in this position now, still get a round of applause. Well done, top season. Like, you mental. Like, none of you put Arsenal in the top 4, even top 6. You were talking about Newcastle will come above us. All this stuff you were saying, because they can't back it up now, so they've got to go the other side and say, "Oh, it's embarrassing if you bottle it from here." Like, but all the clubs all the fans that are saying it, they're all Tottenham fans, salty Liverpool fans. Don't understand that one. Like, surely you don't want Man City or Man United to win the league. Like, surely. Chelsea fans who cares about them, sitting down in 10th, spent 600 million since January. Embarrassing. And they're sitting in 10th. No wonder they're saying if Arsenal bottle it, if Arsenal don't win it, they're bottling it. No wonder they're saying it, because that's their only get out of jail free card if Arsenal win the league this season. Like, you should just keep your head down, not talk about people bottling it, because if Arsenal don't win the league this season, there's still 6-7 other teams who have bottled it. They didn't even come close. That weren't even in the conversation. That's even more embarrassing, considering all you lot were in the conversation at the start of the season. You put yourself in the conversation at the start of the season, and you ain't done nothing. Man City have.
People are doing all they can to come up with scenarios why Arsenal ain't going to win the league.
Or if they don't,
well, this
we're
could
going to do
happen.
this.
What if
Yeah.
this happens? And
Yeah.
what? But what if? But you've got so and so. But you've got to play so and so. What do you hear Arsenal fans turning around going, "Well, you've got to play them. You've got to do that. You've got to play."
We're not interested in what they're doing.
We're not. We don't care.
Yeah.
We're not interested. We're just.
Yeah.
We're in Mikel Arteta's camp, most of us, where we're just saying we'll take it game by game. We keep hearing, well, Man City can do this, Man City can do, and they could. You know, they're
Yeah.
winning 2-0 already tonight. They're playing well. They could easily do that. But you know, just to be different for once. You know, I can turn around and say, well, if we win Saturday and puts us 8 points. And as Kevin mentioned last night, we already got Liverpool the weekend. You know, after that, that's dodgy. Arsenal then are at home to Leeds. Oh, wow. For all we know, Arsenal could be 11 points by the 14 points by the time we even play City. So who cares if we lose against them? You could go on and on and on and on and on. You know, but it's all irrelevant because anything can happen. But people won't let you because they've got the fear. They're scared. They won't say it. You know, Jamie O'Hara, today, they're going to bottle it. Once they get to play so-and-so, they're going to bottle it. They're going to bottle it.
Yes, because he doesn't want to come to terms with the fact that Arsenal could win the league. Now, do you know what? It's a weird thing with ex-Arsenal players or youth players. They have this hatred for Arsenal. I don't understand it. David Bentley was the same. Jamie O'Hara's the same. It's odd. It's odd. He used to play. He was in Arsenal's youth team, working under Arsene Wenger at the time. Like Jamie O'Hara was from around my way, so I know all his friends. I know the people. I know the conversations. Like you should hold something in your heart, Jamie. Like don't be salty.
I spent when I was 14, nearly 15, and I had a few training sessions with the Arsenal youth team, and Jamie O'Hara was there. I remember him. Like he stood out. It was him, and there was Ryan Smith, the left-footed winger that had his career built. They were the two that I remember.
Freddie Horlock, solid player. He was Jamie's best friend.
Right. And yeah, remember because he had these big blonde curtains. Jamie O'Hara, he stood out anyway, and obviously he was one of the better players. Yeah, and he's from Arsenal's youth team.
He was, and he hates us. He hates us, but we don't care, Jamie. More on what I don't care about. Man United lost 7-0 last week, and I couldn't even bother to banter them that much. Not even really. Do you know what I mean? I should have been on their case, but all I care about is Arsenal. I don't care about anyone else. I don't care about any other results. It's Arsenal's, because if Arsenal win, it doesn't matter what anyone else does. And if we keep on doing that, look, Gary Neville. So Gary Neville's the worst possible unbiased pundit around. Yeah, no, look, there's even Man United fans that are sick of him now. I saw a post the other day where they were saying, "No, this is getting beyond the joke. I don't want," because they're seeing it as they see it as a bit embarrassing when he's making excuses for them, or when, say, Arsenal are doing really well and he doesn't want to give credit for it. They're finding that embarrassing because it's not unbiased.
It's hate. He has actually got hate. He won't tell you he's got hate. Obviously, he's not going to come out on the TV and say he hates Arsenal.
Yeah,
that rivalry we had with them, in the Wenger years, where it was Arsenal, Man United, and we was fighting for titles and all the cups and whatever. He's took this on from there, and he hasn't forgotten that.
And he's also been very disparaging about Arsenal, and he can't backtrack because Arsenal fans, especially on the socials, you can imagine what they would have been like in those comment sections. Anytime Gary Neville speaks about Arsenal or does tweet, they are not going to let off. So if you didn't like Arsenal before and you're a name and you're on Twitter, you are definitely not going to change your view on Arsenal. No way, not because those people on socials. I'm an Arsenal fan, and it's rough down there. It is rough. You got to be thick-skinned to handle them. Gary Neville, embarrassing. Big game Thursday. Jerome,
Mm.
Arsenal drew 2-2 away from home. Do you think at home Arsenal going to have too much for Sporting?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously he'll make a few changes, Arteta, but even with the changes, I mean, he made changes, didn't he, for the first game, the away game, and I think they're missing their best centre half. I think they're missing a midfielder, Sporting. Yeah, I think we'll have too much for them. I think there's such good momentum at the moment and we've got a lot of players are coming back now. So I think they'll have too much. I think. Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the starting lineup the other day?
It was a little bit limited because obviously Tierney would have probably played but didn't travel. I was surprised to see Saka start, and I'll be surprised again if he starts on Thursday. Like, he's got to have a bit of a rest, Saka. The rest of the team, we knew that Kyrgios was going to play.
Mm.
Yeah, I didn't really have
It's fairly tough, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. His first game in there. It's not really surprising, but you got William Saliba next to him, not inexperienced, but the younger defender. Ideally, you'd want to start him with even a Holding or a Gabriel, but obviously he felt that Saliba would be the better option. What were your thoughts on the starting lineup the other day, Steve?
I mean, at the time, I liked it, but there was a few performances on the night which made me think that maybe if I could have seen, I had a crystal ball, I would have changed it. And since then, I mean, we had Ben White, William Saliba, Kiwior, Zinchenko played. Tierney was ill, wasn't he? Yeah, Jorginho, Xhaka. Yeah, I mean, look, it wasn't a bad side. I mean, I thought we had enough to win, but we struggled a little bit. There was times in the game when we struggled, and when I see that team, I was in the camp of that would have been the team that I would have played on Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
But I've changed my mind now, because if we do want to win this, if we do want to win Europa Club, and we do, don't we? We want to. When it's important. This isn't the first leg now. For me, this is the second leg. So I would go a lot stronger now than what we did that first leg, because it's 2-2. It's a cup match. Anything can happen. So I feel that if we're going to play, maybe certain players, I still like put it a little, go around, change it a little bit. But there's elements of that team that I would change to make sure that we get the win. And then once we get the win, hopefully we can get a few goals early, and then we can make changes after. But I want a quite strong team now, and it will probably be a lot different from that team that we played last week.
All right, Jerome, what change would you make from this team?
Sorry, I wouldn't play Saka, and I probably wouldn't play Zinchenko.
So you're bringing Tierney, and who would you bring on the right?
Who would I bring on the right? Maybe play Trossard.
All right, Steve, what change would you make from that team?
Quite a few, actually. I'd bring in Ramsdale. I know it's a bit unfair with Turner, but he was, going by the game that he played the other week. I don't want him to all of a sudden now he's going through a bit of a bad form or a bad day. So, and this is a one-off game. If we lose, we're out. That's it, end of. Right. So I want my best goalkeeper in. I don't think it makes a difference. I think if I was Arteta, I'd be telling Turner to sit this one out and maybe bring him in the next one. But I'd play Ramsdale. I'd also bring in Gabriel. I'd have that three of Ramsdale, Saliba, and Gabriel. I'd have that strong because we looked dodgy at the back against Sporting. They looked when they was coming forward. We had problems, and I think Gabriel came on late in the game and shored it right up, and you could see really quite a big difference. So I'd do that on the flanks. I'd play Tommy Ashew instead of Ben White. So that's where, I'd bring in. Well, he's not really our second reserve player, is he? But I'd play Tommy Ashew on the left. I'd play Kieran Tierney instead of Zinchenko. I'd bring Partey in. I'd bring Partey in, and then I'd play possibly. Then I think I might play Partey, Emil Smith Rowe, and Vieira, and then up front I'd bring in Jesus. I'd bring in Jesus. I'd bring in Reece Nelson for Saka, because I think we'd have enough strength up there. And on the left, I'd start with Martinelli.
All right.
And that leaves us a good bench. That leaves us quite a good bench then. It leaves us some good players to bring on. We can bring Trossard on if things really changing. But I'd go strong.
Yeah. Both making changes. Steve with some big wholesale changes. Do you think Arsenal have enough to get through on Thursday, Jerome?
Yeah, definitely. Like, were you impressed with Sporting Lisbon?
No, I thought it was more us. Yes, they had the energy, but I expect that from Portuguese teams. Technically, they're very good. Edwards is a player that anytime he plays, I think it was we played against us before, Vittoria or something like that. Solid then. Nothing that I didn't expect. So yeah, no, I just thought we weren't great, and then done well to get the lead, then pull it back. That was lucky at the end, but yeah, I'll take that. I don't think. I thought we let ourselves down last week with the changes that we made. I was all for the changes.
What's your team, Kiz? What's your team?
My team.
Yeah.
I'm keeping Turner in goal.
Yeah.
I'm bringing in Tomiyasu. Bringing in Tierney. I'd probably keep Cunio in. I'm possibly Partey, Jorginho, and Vieira in midfield. Jesus up top. But I'd have to watch that. If I had to take him off at half time, I'm taking him for half time. But I think he's got enough energy to start. It's just how long he's going to go for, because he has been out for 4 months. So you've got to make sure he's don't push him too hard. Reece Nelson, I'm starting Reece Nelson, and I will probably start Trossard on the left instead of Martinelli, just because I think Martinelli will start the next game on the left, and I'm not sure whether it could be Trossard or Jesus up top. It would depend on how he comes out of this game. So a few changes, probably about in the middle mark between you and Jerome.
The more I think about it, I'd agree with the Jorginho thing and Smith Rowe, because it leaves us a little bit weak in the middle there. So I think I'd agree with you to play Jorginho and Partey and Vieira.
I'd be interested to see how that would work, because I think that could work, Jorginho and Partey, and especially against someone like a Liverpool or a very, very good, energetic passing team. In Europe, it'd be interesting to see how they fare against some of those tougher teams. So yeah, we've got enough in our squad to for me, I think, it's to win this tournament. Biggest challengers, what, United? I think of
Yeah, I
Roma
think so.
still in it. So, like, there's no reason why we can't win it. There's absolutely no reason why we can't win it. There's no reason why a Europa League team, where we're not making massive changes, but we're giving opportunities for the competition of those first team players to have games. I don't think it's bringing the team down. I think it's more of a rotation situation when you're swapping out a Martinelli for a Trossard or a Gabriel Jesus for a Trossard, a Jorginho for a Partey. We're not talking about dropping the levels massively. We're talking about just playing a different team. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. But I think we've got this 2-0, maybe even 3-0, depending. But I just don't see Sporting Lisbon doing much away from home in the return leg. What have we got next? Oh, this is the one that just before we came on, everyone's, well, not everyone's, but heads were wobbling because Ethan Nwaneri. Take it off. Because Ethan Nwaneri, Arsenal youngster. Chelsea are interested in Nwaneri. The original story was Manchester United, Man City, and Chelsea have all sparked interest in Arsenal starlet Ethan Nwaneri. The original story was back from when he had his debut against Brentford. Apparently, Man United was sniffing around then. Chelsea was sniffing around then. It's then come to light. We posted this morning on the Transfer Exchange show that Nwaneri is very much wanting to stay at Arsenal. Arsenal, Arteta, Edu, and the players, which is a good thing to hear, are very fond of the player. He's held in high regard by them all. He wants to emulate and follow the footsteps of Haaland's successors, such as Emil Smith-Rowe and Bukayo Saka. Man United and Man City have not shown any interest, but Chelsea have. But Chelsea show interest in anything that Arsenal glance at. It's becoming beyond embarrassing now. Even Chelsea fans are.
Why would you want to go to Chelsea?
I don't know. I do not know. Ethan Nwaneri. The thing is, Nwaneri's he's like an attacking midfielder, isn't he?
Yeah.
So they just bought, well, not just, but they bought Chukwuemeka at the start of the season. He was an excellent youngster. Like, he's exceptional. He's so talented, that kid. I said at the time, ruining his career going Chelsea. And then, to be fair to him, Graham Potter's given him a few games. But, like, this kid was playing week in, week out for Aston Villa. Now he's gone to Chelsea and he's playing sporadically. I don't understand why. If you go to Chelsea, good luck to you. Because if your career ends there, well, at least you're rich. If that's what you want. If that's what your goal is as a footballer, is to just earn as much money as possible. Fair play to you. But it's a massive waste of talent. Massive waste. Just look at Amari Hutchinson. Amari Hutchinson was on the bench for Arsenal last season, playing Europa League games. For me, he was the one that was coming through to get his opportunity this season. And how many opportunities would he have had this season? So many. Like, it was points when we were forced to have to play Martinelli and Saka, like forced for the full 90 minutes because we don't have any other options. And Amari Hutchinson goes and joins Chelsea, and he's done nothing. I think he's played about 5 minutes at Chelsea so far this season. So, yeah, again, good luck to him. But Steve, do you want to shed a little bit more light on Ethan Nwaneri? Arsenal heads are wobbling, so set them straight.
Yeah, I mean, it's slow news week, isn't it? You know, regarding Arsenal, there's nothing happening. I'm sitting around twiddling my thumbs, but some people get a little bit too bored and get a little bit too excited and think, well, what can I print? And some people should know better, and they come out with this. you've said most of it there. You know, Chelsea, or you know, they were mentioned, but Chelsea are always trying to buy everybody. You know, they just they've got bugs on every single phone in the Premier League, I think, and just listen to other people's phone calls, and then get their information that way. But he's only got to look at what happened to Amari Hutchinson, like you said there. He decided to leave Arsenal and probably, well, hopefully he ain't made a mess of his career, but he certainly made the wrong decision. Man City was said to be interested. They've not even looked at him. Manchester United was said to be interested in. They're not even looking at him. Arteta loves this player. This kid, I've not seen much of him apart from his little cameo appearance against Brentford. But apparently he's the real deal, and he's the next special thing. And Arteta's come out and said, I like this kid. He's training all the time with the first team, week in, week out. He's with them. I see him. I watch the training quite a lot now, every single week. And
it's not long enough. Sorry,
it's not. Is it?
Videos are not long enough. Last season they were going up to 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Some were 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Now we're getting 4 minutes, 3 minutes every other week. It's getting my nerves.
Yeah, it's true, and it's enjoyable, isn't it? Watching them
train,
I love them because you can see, it's since like Jesus has chant, but he certainly looks like the real deal. Arteta loves this player, he loves him, and he got a little bit of stick, didn't he? Because of he brought him on against Brentford, and everybody was on Arteta's back saying, why did you bring him on? He's only 15, and you shouldn't have done that. What a load of old shit! Do you know what I mean? People that come. Absolute nonsense that people come out with. Can you imagine you're that kid? The buzz that would have given him to come on for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I'd probably pay a week's wages just to come on for that amount of time. But to do that, stupid. People haven't got a clue. Some of them, but he's not going anywhere. The first chance they get, I think it's. Is it 17 when they can sign him up for contract? Yeah. So he's 15 now. I think he's probably 16 this year, be 17 next year. And the plan is to get him signed up as an Arsenal player for as long as possible. And from what I can take out, you've already said he wants to, follow in the footsteps of, the players like Smith Rowe's and Saka's and Nketiah's and Balogun's. He's seen what Arteta's done with them. He's seen what he's done with even the older players and way he's improved them. It's again just one of them quite weak stories that someone just decided to make up. So all you people out there who are wobbling their heads, just put your hands together and just stop your head wobbling. There's nothing to wobble about.
Yeah, it's the reports that have come out and trying to say that Arsenal's struggling to tie him down. And if you look, Steve's just mentioned there, he can't sign a professional contract until he's 17. So his next deal is going to be the scholarship, which is going to Hale End, which is right now he's playing under 15s, which he's at the academy. So the next step is the scholarship that you get, and then he starts training at Hale End, then he gets offered a professional contract. Like, this is just part of the process. I don't know why Chelsea are getting involved. I don't know why people's heads are wobbling. Like, there's so many other players that have been further along this, than this, and have not signed a contract at that point, and no one's even batted an eyelid. Like, just relax, people. Charlie Patino could have signed a pre-contract in January if Arsenal didn't sign him up by a certain date before Christmas, and Barcelona was sniffing around. Like, where were people's heads wobbling then? And Charlie Patino's well ahead of Ethan Nwaneri. Do you know what I mean? Or if we've forgotten about Charlie Patino all of a sudden because he's gone out on loan for a season. Like, please, people, just relax. Jerome, would it be a wise move for Nwaneri to go Chelsea?
Only for his bank balance. Other than that, I mean, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Just everything. Firstly, he's just so young. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, he's only 15.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you mentioned, the Mari Hutchinson, that's a great example for him to look at. Perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if all the signs, if you're a young player, are pointing towards Arsenal, really.
Yeah.
If you want to, have a career at a club like us, it's just, I think maybe these stories just put out there to try and upset the supporters because we've got
100%.
such a good thing going at the moment. They just want to rock the boat.
100%. I also think people are not silly when it comes to Arsenal. We are the clickbait team. Like we anything we see, doesn't matter where it's come from, what country. Even, do you know what? The more obscure the country that the news comes from, the more hyped Arsenal fans seem to get. Like, it could come from the Timbuktu, and you've got Arsenal fans like this news outlet in Timbuktu is saying that Ethan Nwaneri doesn't like Arsenal and that he wants to go Chelsea. And their heads will wobble. They will absolutely wobble. I just don't understand it. Just don't give these people the time of day. The person who wrote this article, or an update on this, because he didn't even write the article, but he for some reason, somehow, he managed to find an update once the news had already come out that Chelsea were interested. He found an update, which was that Arsenal was struggling to tie down Nwaneri. What? But didn't say in what way Arsenal was struggling to tie him down. This is the lunacy that's going on. That a journalist will tell you that Arsenal are struggling to tie Nwaneri down to a contract, but can't get specifics as to what. Is it length of contract? Is it money? Is it game time for a 15-year-old? What's stopping? What they're struggling to tie him down to? It's just like when you hear stories like that, it's nonsense, absolute nonsense. So yeah. But maybe what's he saying here? What's Johnny saying? I trust Arteta not to let the right players, the right character, not to go. The recruiting has been top draw, in my opinion. No, it has been. Steve, is there a better club to come through than Arsenal to get your opportunity?
No. There's. I don't think there is. I don't think it's a better club. I don't think there's a better manager. And if you want a club that's going in the right direction, then there's not much far to look than Arsenal. You've only got to look at. We've had a record of over the years, not just this season, but over the years of just bringing through youngsters. It's our thing. It's what we do, and we do it. We do it excellent. We've probably got 3 of the best role models at the club now. For youngsters to look up to, not just on the pitch, but in the coaching staff. You've got Per Mertesacker, you've got Jack Wilshere. There's Mikel Arteta. 3 people who I don't think you could have picked them out if you was asked to pick 3 people out to train your kid or take your kid to the next level, then I don't think you're going to get better than them. But we've had a record of this over the years. And one thing that we do, and I think we going back to what we just said a little while ago, with playing the boy, at 15 years old in a Premier League game, just shows you that Arteta said to you, you do the business, you start. And that will play in his mind. If there's anything to say to the kid, oh, will I get my chance at Arsenal? He knows that if he does, he'll play. And that's what Arsenal do, and that's Mikel Arteta's philosophy. You do well, you play, you have trust in the process, you do as you're told. He's strict, yes, but at the same time, he'll stick up for you. He'll point you in the right direction, and that goes to the same with Jack Wilshere, with Per Mertesacker. It filters its way all the way down. They've got the same way of thinking. the way you play in every single, whether you're playing in the under 11s, 15s, 23s to the full size, everything's the same. You play the same football, you do your job, you play well, you get your chance, and you can be in the first team. And Ethan's already had a bit of that already. I think that was a great move from Arteta at the beginning of the season to do that for him. It just shows you much how to think of him. And another big thing that he does as well, he brings youngsters into training with a full squad every week. Again, I've seen people have a go at him at that. Why do you do that? Why you giving them false hope? Not maybe at your club you get false hope. Maybe if you're at Manchester United, where you're just bunged off or shot off, maybe not so much. With Ten Hag, he's a bit different. He's given players a chance, Garnacho, so on and so forth. But it gives you a chance. And it's for me, I'm biased, but he's at the best club in the land. And what better place to be at this moment in time as well?
Jerome, better clubs come through than Arsenal?
No way.
Get more opportunities everywhere else?
Yeah, it depends. Whatever you want, you can have it at Arsenal. Like there's so many examples of people that have been in a similar position to him, and he's always liking all the photos and stuff that the players are putting up. Every time Saka puts a photo up, he's loving it. He's giving it all the hearts. Like, he's with amazing role models. One of the best young managers probably in European football. He's at his home club, and again, he's 15 years old. Like, there's no rush. There's no rush with him at all.
No, I agree. And just before we go, speaking of youngsters who came through at Arsenal, Cesc Fabregas is currently training with Jack Wilshere with the under-18s. Cesc Fabregas is what? I know. That's Jack
He
Wilshere.
still play, can't he?
He's probably still
He
good.
put him on the bench.
He's 35. I think he only retired last season from Monaco.
Oh, give him a shirt.
But a lot of Arsenal players are starting to come out now. Cesc Fabregas, Robin van Persie are starting to tell their stories on how and why they left. I know a lot of people are still hurt, but be interesting to see if Cesc Fabregas wants to stay a bit longer at Arsenal. What's your thoughts on bringing back some of the old players into the youth setup to train and coach, Steve? Cesc Fabregas. To start with Cesc Fabregas. Thinking specifically about how Cesc Fabregas left and how some Arsenal fans will never forgive him. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, Cesc Fabregas. I mean, to me, he's always been an Arsenal legend. He'll always stay an Arsenal legend. And personally, I don't know what he did wrong when he left. I can't remember. He went home. He went back to Barcelona where he wanted to be with his family. And yeah, if you're an Arsenal fan, you're going to get upset by that. Then I think you should take a look at yourself. To be quite truthful, I'm sure most Arsenal fans don't think that way. 98% of them. But yeah, I mean, Cesc Fabregas. I mean, what again? We were just talking about role models. For me, an absolute incredible role model for the club.
Got his debut at 16 or 15 in the Carabao, or weren't Carabao Cup, it was the League Cup.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And he's someone to turn around and he'll tell the players that, he'll say, look, I was given my chance. I was in the first team. I was made captain at so and so an age, whatever he was when he was made captain. I can't remember if it was at what age he was made captain as, but yeah, he said he'll say you can join this club, you work hard, and he'll tell them that he's at the best club in the land. And we all know that Cesc Fabregas loves Arsenal Football Club. And the more we can bring people like Cesc back, who, just to add to my sort of praise for him, who just walks into my greatest Arsenal 11 team of all time. I mean, that's people will question that, but he certainly starts in my greatest 11 Arsenal of all time. To have that type of character, working at the club and training the young kids. I mean, come on. I mean, like, can you imagine if it was our kids and he's being trained by Cesc Fabregas? Yeah, it's great being trained by Per Mertesacker. It's even great being trained by Jack Wilshere, you know, a Arsenal fan, Arsenal legend. But come on, Cesc Fabregas. I mean, he's a world-class footballer who loves Arsenal Football Club and was a captain of the club. I mean, again, another great move and one that I don't know who brought it back in. It was probably Arteta, I suppose, who got him in.
Jack Wilshere.
Oh, was it Jack Wilshere?
Mm.
Well, yeah, I mean, but Jack's got the same. They've all got the same philosophy, haven't they? They've all been brought up with the same philosophy. You know, Jack thinks, right, who's got the same philosophy as me? Cesc Fabregas. He loves Arsenal. I love Arsenal. What he could bring to the youngsters, and yeah, well done, Jack. Great, great shout. And there's others out there, but yeah, if there's the more the merrier, mate. The more the merrier.
Jerome, Cesc Fabregas, is it time to put water under the bridge, or do you think Arsenal fans are not going to get over it?
Yeah, I mean, like personally, I never had any hard feelings towards Cesc.
Because he was like brother, weren't he? Come through so young.
Incredible player. Carried the team he was in at times, especially towards the end of his time at Arsenal. And when it comes to being a coach at Arsenal, I know maybe it was Wilshere's idea to bring him in, but I don't think there's any way that happens without Arteta giving it the green light. I think he must have run it past Arteta, and so if it's good enough for Arteta, then I'm happy with that. And I know sometimes just because you're a great player doesn't mean you're a great coach. But I think when it comes to coaching, maybe the youngsters with Cesc's brain, Cesc's football brain, that's not a bad person to learn from. He's also obviously played in our team, but he played with Messi at Barcelona. Like, he's come through the Barcelona youth team before our team. Like, you want to know how to play in midfield and get some tips. Cesc is an incredible person to get advice from. So I'm all for it, to be honest.
It's a great comment from Johnny there, bottom there.
Joe Milvara helps coach at Spurs apparently, and long may it continue. I'm all for Cesc coming back. As I said before, I didn't have any ill feeling. It hurt more as opposed to anger at him. Now, I can understand. I think that will be different when it comes to Van Persie. Different scenario, different situation.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard for him to, whatever stories he spins. I think that open letter was the one that kind of shot himself on the foot there with that open letter. Sometimes it's just better to say nothing and let people fill in the gaps than it come across like you're trying to dictate where Arsenal go direction-wise. Whether you've got the good intentions, what not, remember you're still a player. So it was never going to come across well. And interviews recently, it just feels like, Robin, just leave it, mate. Like, just leave it. There's no point. There's no amount of explanations that you're going to be able to give for Arsenal fans to then turn around and go, do you know what? It's all right. You went to Man United. You won the league there. Like, it's all right. Like, it's just one thing most people aren't going to get over. So, but Cesc Fabregas completely different. As Steve said, he went back to Barcelona. It was a club that if he was going to go anywhere, it was going to be Barcelona. And it was one that you could kind of not hold it against him. I think the thing that hurt for me was probably more the timing, his age. He still had so many more years in him. And he could have had a couple of more years with us. And personally, I felt the last season that he was there, it was a bit of a powder puff, fluff, nothing season where his head was already turned, and he gave us a year, and it didn't feel right that year. It was almost as if just go. This one is true. Cesc Fabregas wanted to come back to Arsenal. Arsenal had the first option.
Yeah.
But at the time, Arsenal also had Aaron Ramsey, Jack Wilshere, Mesut Ozil.
Was Cazorla there then?
Cazorla was there as well.
Yeah.
And I know people say that we had a few injuries. Jack Wilshere and Cazorla was injured. But did you genuinely think that Jack Wilshere and Santi Cazorla would never come back after that? Which they didn't really. So it's in hindsight, yes, great. But like, seriously, Wenger said at the time, if I was to bring you back, I would have to play people in different positions. And he wasn't willing to do that. So, look, it is what it is. We move on. And I would love to see Cesc Fabregas back at Arsenal. Yes, I would love to. What's he saying here? Ivan Nwaneri, current Edu, Mikel Arteta, Edu. I don't know what you're saying there. Anyway, that is all we have time for. Thank you for everyone who has joined us today. If you are new to the show, press that like, press that subscribe, and if you're feeling generous, press that share button. If you are a regular to the show, press that like and press that share button. All you got to do is press the copy button, and it messes with the algorithm and all that. You know what I mean? Thank you for joining us tonight, Jerome, and thank you for joining us tonight, Steve.
Cheers, mate.
Cool.
All right, make sure you catch us on Thursday for the post-match reaction of the Sporting Lisbon game. It's not another early kickoff, is it? Please tell me it's not.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, thank God for
I
that.
don't know. Comments? Can you tell us before we go?
I struggled the other day to watch that game. Well, I watched the second half, but the first half is a nightmare. I had to watch it on my phone on the train. Like, Arsenal, please stop doing this to us.
Yeah.
We want to watch every game that we can. So it is 8 o'clock kickoff on Thursday. So it'll be a 10 o'clock post-match reaction. Make sure you come and join us. What's Johnny saying before we go? We have some great players then, but did they have the mentality? No, they didn't. No, not the players that were built around Cesc Fabregas. When, as Jerome said, he was carrying the team at points. And for a young player, it does become a bit of a burden, especially when you go and win just come back from winning the World Cup and all the players that are around him were basically telling him to come back to Barcelona. So, yeah, his head was turned. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.